I'm not able to do a screen
Yeah.
sharing.
Let me see if I
Sure.
need to do something. Okay. Let me make you the host also, right? Okay. Can you see if you are able to access now?
Oh, yes. Yes, I can.
That's great. Yep. So without further ado, and we are on a free session, so which means 37 minutes left. So let's make the best use of the time and let's start with the session. Maybe so you can bring up the screen quickly, and I will take 1 minute to give an introduction, and then let's start. Right. And thanks,
Sure.
Som, for offering to provide this session. It's not easy to share individual journey and also kind of a detailed steps like step by step, 1 2 3 kind of step what we need to take. So really appreciate your time on a Saturday. Right. So with that, I will give a quick introduction. Every one of you would know what is Help4People, and this is a community that is running with the sole objective of helping each other, right? And this is not a place for people to come up and advertise their business, take business and go. This is not, you can still do that, but please have that helping mindset. 1% or 2% of whatever you make, donate to any charity you like. It's not for this group or any individual. You do for anyone you like, but please ensure that you do. And whatever knowledge you gain, ensure that you spread that knowledge for at least four more people. So bringing the knowledge, helping four people, and hoping those four people go on help on another four people. And that's the main intention of this community. We need a like-minded people. We need people who help each other at any time of any crisis or whatever help you need. You need to get from this community and provide your help. So if you are good in some area and you want to share it with the community, please reach out to me, and let's help spread the awareness and information to everyone so everyone can benefit. So with that, I will hand over to Som, who wants to share his individual journey that he has been taking towards achieving fire. And next 25 to 28 minutes for you, Som, to do the full gyan of your journey. And then last 10 minutes, we will open to the questions. Don't wait for the questions. Please put in the chat so that we can save some time towards the end, and we can start answering. Whoever has knowledge can start answering, and we will ensure that everyone's queries are clarified. Great. So you are on a not on a presenter mode. Maybe full screen if you can go, that will be great. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I did a full screen. Maybe it's like,
Is
let me check.
everyone able to see full screen?
Let me
Please come on camera if you can.
I can see full screen.
share the PowerPoint. I'll share the PowerPoint holistically then.
Yeah.
Able to see the PowerPoint now?
Yes. Yes. So.
Okay, cool. So Jay, I will take over from here, and then as you want, you can pitch in. Thank you, Jay. It's amazing to have on a Saturday morning with a bunch of like-minded people who wanted to achieve, who are working on something that it is most fulfilling, or that's going to be more fulfilling for you in a long term, as fire. Uh, Jay, you have been very instrumental in helping to share and spread the word that I wanted to let people know as well, because it comes at, I mean, like for me, I started writing about fire and the journey of fire, not with the intention of making money. I have had my own personal experience in seeing some of, which I will go on to say, share, which I have seen that, what, certain times we are left behind, one, lack of knowledge, two, we would have enough money that we would not look to see that, we have enough, and we will go on to live our pursuit of life in the pursuit of, what, I have born, and all to the end of my life, my aim is to slog and then accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. And then at one day I kick my bucket and then I will be gone. So that's kind of a mentality that some of us um, would have developed, largely because what we have seen, what we have listened, what we have heard. And, it is very different or difficult to be out from the herd and then look at it in a whole different perspective. And I thought, what? this is a good opportunity for me to share what I'm nowhere close to fire as well, but I thought I would just start with sharing what I have experienced so far, but that would resonate or that would help with people. So thank you, Jay, for this setup, for this opportunity, and for this community for us to be able to share and contribute. With that, I wanted to say a quick introduction about myself. So I am like as a tech professional, and I work for an IT company, and I am apart from that code that I wear as an IT person. If I remove the code, I'm a dad. I have two amazing boys, 8 years old and 4 years old. I take really a good pride of being a good dad for them, and I would not say I wanted to be a good role model, but at least I would say, you know what, as much as I can, I would try to inherit the good habits that I can. Know what kids doesn't, growing up, kids doesn't come with a playbook, right? So, you just try to learn it out and then, try to find what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then again, accordingly, tailor that. And again, I'm also in a real world, like spent money, lost money, and have had few issues with being able to save money and all of those things. So I'm a real world money learner, and I think I started this journey of learning about money about 5 years back, and I still, that it's a vast ocean. You would start with it with you thinking that you are starting with learning money, and then you would start to go into the rabbit hole of one day you are finding out yourself about what you are doing with money, how you are doing with the money. You are essentially uncovering your deep beliefs about money, and it's been immensely a journey that I enjoyed and I continue to enjoy. One call out is that none of the conversation that I'm going to share here is a financial advice. And, yeah, you consider your personal situation, circumstances before you make any decisions on investing money or investing anything that it is applicable for you. With that, I also wanted to share about 2x2 FI, which I will share later behind at the end. And now I wanted to take a moment to say why I care about financial education. So the reason why and started embarking in this journey of financial education is because I wanted to start with a little bit of a story or a background. I work in IT and my wife works in IT. So we both were locked down in 2020 at home, and my kid who was sick and he wasn't able to go to childcare. So on a morning, she said that she will look after the kid, and she was in back-to-back calls, and I was in calls as well, in back-to-back calls, and he was sleeping. He was 2 years old at the time. He was sleeping. He woke up, and it. I mean, we juggled it around in such a way that, morning, irrespective of what happens at work, you manage him, and in the afternoon, irrespective of what happens at work, I will try and manage him. So that was the setup. But unfortunately, her work was so consuming at the time, so she couldn't manage him. And then, he was crying for help, crying for support, crying for attention. And then, she just grabbed him and then put him right next to her. And then, she let him cry, but she couldn't take her hands off the keyboard because she was on a call in a meeting. And when I went inside to see him, he was full of tears, and that face and that reaction is still, still painfully hurts. The reason is that, what, we brought that kid into this world, and, because of we being corporate slaves, that we were not able to look after him when he is sick and when he needed us the most. And at that moment in time, I started thinking, why is life so hard? Why is it so painful? What is it we can do about it? And I don't have an answer. I didn't have an answer. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I started questioning myself, saying, okay, we are in this corporate battle. We are going to be suffering, and then the technology is getting continuously upgraded, and we are also always in the threat of oh, what? another layoff, another redundant package, or another anything around us would be a situation that would essentially derail us financially completely. What can we do about it is something that I kept asking myself. I didn't have an answer, and I still continue to struggle with finding answer. But only thing that we have is that, like, you know what, we can continue to make some efforts in being able to educate ourselves, and our find some ways in avenues in which that we save some on the side. And if fire is something that we can pursue as a goal, even if I don't get to be able to fully fire at some point in time, but I hope I will make it. If I don't, at least I would have had some buffer, or at least I have some avenues in which that I will be able to get through the tough times with some emergency savings, with some funds that I've parked aside and really allocated accordingly. So that was one of the main reasons for why I embarked on fire at that point in time. So the next step is about financial education as a whole. Like, why did it come into play? This is again a very personal story. It's my sister, my own sister. She used to have an unsustainable work ethics. Like, all of us who are working in corporate, we set ourselves in high career progression, high limits, high expectations. Not just us, people around us also set high expectations off of us. So she was one of that as well. And she one fine evening she made dosa for her, my uncle, like my brother-in-law. Finished with dosa, everything, and she was cleaning in the kitchen. And she used to work during that time in accounting, so it's morning 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. That's common in the month of end. And then after dosa is all done, she was cleaning in the kitchen. I don't know where her headspace was. Maybe between what the client escalation that came through versus what the deadlines are. So she was not in the present. She was switching between back that it was past and thinking about what that she need to finish for the future. So she had a severe headache. She fell down. She vomited, and my brother-in-law ran to help her. And in that moment, she puked out, and the vomit didn't come out from her mouth, but rather through her nose. And then immediately called an ambulance and whatnot. And while she was just 42, she passed away. So that was, I mean, like, a grueling experience. So at the time, I couldn't even travel to India because she passed away, and my wife was in the hospital, and I had two kids to manage and whatnot. So the reason why I tell this story is because it's while this is real and it's not a story, it's a this essentially meant that, like, she didn't have to work too hard. If she, all she was working was $25,000 a month salary in India, and if she just had to look, she was just looking at the trees that it is in front of her. If she just took a step back and looked at the forest collectively as a whole, she didn't have to work at all. She could have taken easily a break of 1 year, 2 years, or whatever that it is needed for her to look to see more holistically, and then went back into the work if needed. So that is when I thought, like, what, if my sister is in this position, I am assuming there could be some other people as well in this position. So what can I do about it? And I thought, okay, might as well help to share what I know. I'm nowhere close to fire, but at least I've accumulated some knowledge and information, share what I know, and help to see how I can, essentially be part of a difference that I can make within the community. So this is when I thought, like, what, there is something that it is bigger than myself that I can be part of, and that's fire for me, and that it is teaching or sharing knowledge of fire to the people around me. With that, the third one that I wanted to also say is that, like, in today's session, we'll probably look at three C's: clarity, confidence, and control. Hopefully those stories were not too heavy, and are, I will bring it back to something that is needed on what that it is of fire. So fire, financial independence, retire early, is basically, in other words, taking control of your life and having options. Many people assume that, like, financial independence and retire early is that, like, what am I going to do after retiring early? I'm going to sip a pina colada every day in a beach. I know it's not about that. It's just more about having options, right? And many a times when I've spoken about fire, with my boss and our boss's boss and our capability area leads and all of those, then they will be like, oh, then does it mean that people will be eating beans and tins and only tuna cans every day, that they will hoard lots and lots of money? And you know what? That it is not how it is. Maybe the common media would try to position it that way because, the general population or the common media is still more consumer centric and consumer driven, and that is where the economy can thrive and drive, right? So that there is a myth and there is a movement. So this depends on which medium that you follow, or which part of the ears that you give hearing to. Yeah, if you are hearing that like, yeah, there are a lot of people who are just eating the tin cans, tuna and whatnot, and I think that's not what fire for, and that it is not it is. So it is just more about like, yeah, what works for you, what options you have. So that's about it. And I mean, yeah, fire is not about quitting work. For me, it's not about quitting work. It's about pursuing something else that it is much more meaningful, pursuing something else that you feel that it is where your energy is best placed. So, you just have options. So that's fire for me. This is my personal journey, and this is where it started, and this is where we are headed. So, as I said, like, I have had burnouts and I had blind spots, and, I've had promotions that it was delayed. And though I was given a promotion, I wasn't given a salary hike. And I was like, what? What? Is this even possible? Yeah, that all of those things are something that I've experienced. And, even if we get some bonus, or even if we get some lump sum tax and whatever tax refund or anything, we don't know what to do with it. Like, we would always be looking at like, oh, what's the next shiny thing that we can buy? What is the next I mean, like, accessories that we can accumulate? So that's something that is how I have envisioned. So I've, if I look for you that I am someone who has mastered money, no, not at all. I am someone who has experienced the pain and sorrow and sufferings of the money, and then it's just something in the last 5 years that have mindfully applied what I wanted to see with how I use my money. And money was just a tool for me to survive. So I had no long-term vision and I had no strategy. I was just like, you know what? I have money today and I have money to spend. I have things to buy. Then I will keep going. Never had took a pause to reflect at all. And I do went into crypto rabbit hole, and then get rich quick optimism. So again, back in 2020, I was thinking, oh, you know what? Like there is a little bit of surplus cash. Like, okay, let me put the money here, and then boom, that over a period of 7 to 8 months, the 20K became 200K, and I was like, yes, I got the printing press for the dollars, so now I can print money at will. So you know what? That's when the world humbles you, and that 200K just came crashing down when the crypto winter hit, and it came back to 20K or even less than 20K, and the wounds, the scars, the pain, the suffering, and even looking at the 200K, given that it is US dollars, it is 350K of Australian dollars. I was like, oh my God, it would have been enough to cover so much of my mortgage. Oh my God, it could have helped to put aside so many things. But you know what? Like that pain and that suffering, I still feel I'm grateful to have had that. If I had not had that, I would be a different person. And I'm so happy that I had that. So yeah, and again, I was thinking that like, if I had to get rich or if I wanted to get to fire, the only option was more income, and that was the only solution. But now what we are doing is that like, we have a defined monthly investing plan. We have index funds. We put as much as possible into our super, and then we do have real estate, and that helps to take care of leverage as well. So we built a portfolio considering whether it is needed for us to look after our principal place of residence, whether it is needed for us to collectively ensure that like our fire goals are met, how much that it is needed in real estate, how much that it is needed in the dividend providing index funds versus non-dividend providing index funds, and how much of that it I've worked out set numbers. That's that it is more personal. So, and we also built our money rules as a family. Some of these are spoken out loud, some of them were not spoken out loud, but like we do have a set of principles that we abide by when it comes to money, and we pay that attention diligently. and we manage money within our home with defined roles. I play the role of a CFO, if I may say so, and my wife, Mrs. plays the role of a CPO. CFO, as you would know, finance officer. I take care of investment, stack filing, what to invest, and how much money that comes in, how much money that we go out, how much to pay for the school, how much I pay for the utilities, how much I pay for the insurance. All of those remits that comes under my remit. Someone in your family has to play that role. So, might as well be someone in you choose between you, or you wanted to pass that on to your Mrs. At my home, see, my CPO is, I mean, like, my wife is the CPO, that's a procurement officer. That's how I put it. So she does a bloody damn good job of finding everything that it is needed for us to procure things. So most of the things, like, thanks to the community that we have, like, Jay would say, what, there is a discount here, there is a deal here. So, we do follow that, we do pursue that. Then those are the ways and avenues in which that we make small, meaningful changes. And we do cut coupons. We do look for, like, what's the deal that is available in Woolies, what's the deal that is available in Coles. We are not someone who will be like, I am a Woolies pro, I won't go to Coles. I'm a Coles pro, I won't go to Woolies. Nah, I'm looking at where I get the best deal, I will go for it. That's it. My money is more important for me than making someone else rich. We also have additional strategies, like, I do track net worth on a monthly basis, and I hold that accountable on me, and I do share that on a monthly basis to my wife, and she looks at it to say, "Oh, okay, you know what," and that's how that's about it. And we do super top ups, and we do have a trust, and then we have a will that it is set up as well. So about all of these things, I will continue to write, and I will share some of these experiences that I had. That way, it will help to know about it in the future as well. So at this time, for us, I am optimistic that financial independence is possible, and it is not an abstract. But we still several years away. So, yeah. Again, like in the previous slide as well, I said, like, financial independence is not about retiring early at all. It's more about owning my time, energy, and choices that I have. It's, again, I'm making one small steps at a time. So this is some of our family rules. I'm gonna walk this through relatively quickly because I have written a post about it, and I'm aiming to have it coming out this Sunday. So we do look to see certain small things, like, if it is a greater than $100 expense, like, we look to see, oh, do we need, how do we wait? And then if it is because, like, many a times we go into a shopping, it could be an impulsive purchase to buy it, and then what, oh, okay, we didn't need it, right? So we look to see, if it is a greater than $100, what, let's wait it out. And then we don't do any takeaway food, like via Uber or anything. So my kids know that, like, we could order food on the app and then get it home delivered. So that is a big ticket item that they doesn't know about it, and we are also happy about it. But if it is needed, yeah, we do take them to McD, KFC, and restaurants and whatever that it is needed as part of experience. But we don't do the takeaway food at all. If needed, we'll do um, Maggi noodles or katumba parota. That's good enough for us. So, uh, and yes, we do invest monthly, rain or shine, and there is absolute transparency in our transaction. It's shared common finances between me and my wife, and she knows everything that I am spending the money on, and I know everything that she is spending money on. And we talk money with kids at dinner table, and we do set boundaries. If they ask something, then we do really see if that it is something that it is needed, and if that it is need versus want. If it is a want, we don't honor. If it is a need, we do honor. So yeah, they do know that's how their dads and moms are tuned. So they know whether they will come to us to ask for something or they not. And at the same time, we do spend money on travel and experiences. So this is something that I do cherish, and this is something that I do enjoy. So I think I doubt about it as well, that, like, when we retire, when me and my wife sitting somewhere, and if we look at our phones, and if we can see the pictures of we going to different places, and then we had our memories, that would be the best thing that money has spent and bought for us. So yeah, we do spend money on the travel and experiences. So now, moving out from us, I mean, like, me, my family, I wanted to use the remaining time to talk about what FIRE is what fire can do, right? So if you look at the fire framework, I put it as like for fire. I mean, like, yeah, it has many things. So focus. And I would say if you are listening into this conversation, you should be clear on what is your why that you wanted to pursue in this money journey and what is your priorities. Maybe fire may not be a priority right now for you, but it is knowing about this as an option is something that you can pursue in the future. But maybe you are in a lifestyle situation where you know that you have some options, but you are not clear about it. So, if that it is not clear, then, you ask yourself certain questions in being able to see why you need fire. What is that you want to aim for fire? So asking those questions will give you the clarity, because be it index funds, be it real estate, be it superannuation, be it any crypto, be it any of the investment options that you would have, they are all a vehicle to the destination, but it is not the only source, right? So, yeah, people would battle between real estate versus shares versus ETFs versus crypto and all of those things. I will be like, you know what, I'm in the camp of all of these, and I'm using these as a means to get to my destination, but not looking at that as a only source. So, invest, yeah. If you have a set amount, automate, simplify it, index funds or dollar cost average, and real estate, whatever that floats your boats or suits you. Yeah, invest. Sometimes best planning comes from doing investment and making mistakes. So DCA is dollar cost averaging, so that you could put the dollars on a monthly basis set aside and then keep it up, keep it keep it full, keep it going on a regular basis. Resilience, yes. You set aside the emergency funds, buffers, and when there is additional money that comes in, avoid lifestyle creep, because it's easier to get into the consumer mentality where we would go on to, oh, you know what, this sounds shiny, this looks shiny, this we want, that we want, and that it is needs can be met, but wants can never be met, right? So yeah, when you have more money, there is always an option for spending more. So it's only 10 more minutes, so I'm going to rush to this. Engagement, talk about money with your family, kids, track and adjust. So yeah, you make sure you talk to everyone that you talk, like, family, outside of family, with whoever that you talk to, or talk about money and engage about money. So rate yourself on the above on a scale of 1 to 5 on each. So I will share this pack, or however Jay would prefer this one to come out, and rate yourself on the scale of 1 to 5 to see where you are. Do you know your why on on your fire journey? Are you investing in automated way into your investments options? Do you have emergency funds? Do you talk about money with your kids and whatnot? Rate yourself on each of these scales on 1 to 5. If all of these are 5, you are doing awesome. You don't need to be in this call. If any of these are 1 or 2, then you can look to see or hone in to see what you want to do on on those places where you are, where you can
Yes,
improve on.
Manu.
The next, I think there's a background noise, so I'm going to keep going. So, common money myths that hold us back. We always think that like budgeting means restriction. I will figure out when I earn more. Investing is only for the finance people. I'm way too late. I don't know where to start. So these are some of the things that will stop us or make us progress. But that is why we have this forum, that is why we have this setup, that is why we have this group. And I'm a common simple person. If I can answer any questions at any time, do not hesitate to reach out to me, hit me up at all, and ask the questions in the forum. I'm always happy to help, and there will be so many other people who have gone through this journey, and they would also be able to help us as well. To achieve fire, what is it we need to achieve fire? We definitely need dedication. We need the intention, that is why, and we need systems. What I mean systems meaning not logical, sophisticated systems, but it is just more about like systematic way in which I look at tracking my net worth on a monthly basis. So what is it that we do? So some of those systems, tools, mindset are those things that it is needed. Um, Support, yes, you definitely need support. You can, I mean, if you are a married person and if you have a kids and family and a commitment, you cannot I mean, I wouldn't say you cannot, but you will need alignment with your partner as well. So make sure that that support is available. And amongst all of this that it is said, that discipline trumps everything, everything. You need utmost discipline, and this discipline would essentially help you to get to the destination as well. So if anybody is talking, can I please request to go on mute, please?
Let's
Cool,
go
thanks.
to you, Guru. Yeah.
Yes, the 5 levels of FI. So this slide is primarily to you to self-reflect on where you are in your journey, and then accordingly you can look to see expanding on these to go on to the next stages. This 5 levels of FI, I will shamelessly accept that I have taken it completely from one of the book that I'm reading now, which is the elements of life from five practical paths of life from Salil Bloom. Oh my God, that is an amazing book that I've ever read. Yeah, this is one of his. This is the 5 levels in which that he talks about. Level one, we have our baselines met. That includes food and shelter. Most of us are already in level one. Level two, we have baselines that is exceeded. Modest pleasure becomes accessible, and we include food in restaurants and whatnot. And that's also some of us would have already been. Level three is no longer a mind. Baseline needs are no longer in mind, which is guaranteed. And then, I'm focusing on investing and compounding wealth. And I'm also focusing on leaving a legacy. And making multiple trips are becoming available as well. So the next level is level four. Most reasonable pleasures are readily available. The asset accumulation that you have done is accelerating, and you are at a point where your passive income produced by your asset that you have invested is producing enough surplus. At this point in time, you do consider options for whether you want to continue to work it 5 days, or you want to go back to 4 days, 3 days, you wanted to pursue something else on the side or whatever, right? So that's the fourth. And at level five, you are completely out of game. You are just on your own. You just choose to see whatever you want to do. So reflect on yourself to see where you resonate to, and then at that level you can essentially branch out to see what you need to do to hone in on that. So the tools and systems that I use are my monthly tracker, and I'm happy to share that to everyone. And monthly money check-in. So this is something that like me and my wife look to see. We don't necessarily talk on a regular basis. This what that is what that. But like I update the spreadsheet. I send the screenshot or updates of what our net worth is, and then She is a very tough maths student, so if I do anything wrong, then she will point out saying, what last month we had this much, this month we have this. Where did this go? I'm like, oh yeah, so here is what it happened. So that's a good interrogation that I have with my wife. So that's a good thing. Uh, Mindset hacks, yeah, the discipline, all of those things, right, that we spoke about that comes in play. And also, I would highly recommend developing your own money rules for your family on what works for you and what doesn't work for you, so that it is something you can start with it. If your partner doesn't come to party, you just create some work with it, and you and your partner can essentially find a common medium on what works best for you guys. There's lots and lots of books, wisdoms, podcasts that I can share. Probably I will share that as a separate post or an article
Yeah,
about it.
exactly. So much information is there, and obviously 35 minutes is not enough. So we did intentionally originally wanted to have it for 1 hour, but let's get it. And what we need is the feedback on this session and what else you want to see, so that we can customize the session for next few meetings. And again, it's not like we have spent 38 minutes today or 40 minutes today and then forget about the session. So it's all the mindset, which so as provided with the real life example, right? And this community, as I previously told, is all about sharing the knowledge and helping. So ask the questions, keep the community interactive, and pay it forward for people who may need. And when you achieve the level 4 or 5, that's when that mindset will start coming automatically also. So there are so many options, so many ways we can start our journey or proceed our journey towards fire, but it all needs some kind of a discipline, what Somas told. So we will share whatever artifacts that could be helpful to start your journey, like a net worth tracker, or that's something, right? That will give you a motivation. Last month I had a $10,000, and this month, after making those, that 10,000 has become $20,000. So it's all in the mindset, and then you will know. You don't need to be told. Third month you will be obviously expecting something out, that 20,000 has changed into 25 or 30K. So it's all in the mindset, and hopefully this session, some as provided, gives you some kind of a motivation towards the journey. And as so mentioned, if you are lazy, if you just want to do the 9 to 5 and don't want to do anything, then you will remain and retire and die as a 9 to 5 employee, right? So start thinking, start putting together some concrete steps that would really help you retire in next 3 years. My target, and the 70 people who are following, are actually towards a journey in 3 years time, right? So but that needs discipline. So start putting changing your mindset, what you want to achieve, and the focus, why you want to do this. That's a very first point Som covered. So start doing stuff that you learned from this session, and let's continue the interaction in the group. But that's something I really want. And please share the knowledge. 42 people joined this session out of 483, which is less than 10%, right? And again, 42 is a very big number, but please share the knowledge, what you learned. Speak to your friends, speak to your family, help them grow. Not just you grow, help them grow, and that will help spread the awareness. And also, if entire all your friends are millionaires and along with you, that makes more sense than a single millionaire, right? So great. And so over to you for the last 30 seconds. Yes and no, that one, the last screen you showed.
Yeah, I was gonna get to it. Yes, definitely, Jay. I mean, thank you, Jay, for covering the last few minutes. And yeah, again, as what Jay said, I completely agree with it. It's not about retiring early. It's more about having options and pursuing our passion. And the slide is where I said, if you wanted to follow my writing, 2 pi to fi dot substack is where I write. 2 pi is stands in a mathematical equation. 2 pi is 360 degree, so it compares